Well, how wonderful to see your beautiful smiling faces out there this Christmas tide 2019. I say that because if you're watching this video at any other time of the year, which you probably might well be doing, then you have to realise it is Christmas. It's near the winter solstice, it's dark. I mean, it's only 1:30 and I've got all these lights on, and outside it's raining, it's cold in the middle of England here. It really is. Still, that's why we do all these colourful things at Christmas time. Oh, and you best wish me luck for the market store, my last market store with my boxes, my wooden boxes, which will be in Leamington Spa on Sunday, which is the Sunday before Christmas. Should be good. Last year I did this and sold quite a few. I just got to get rid of those boxes. I've got so many. I just like making them. Anyhow, I will now be doing some calligraphy for you, showing how I did that Christmas writing on the Christmas tubes, which were with the electric candles inside of them on the last video. Now, to do this, you really have got to have a wide pen or brush. I'm going to use a pen, but you need to use either a brush or a pen, but really you've got to get it on the surface of the paper to clearly get that feeling of the thin and the thick. The pens I like because you can actually turn them onto their corners and get a nice thin line as well. Right, I want to show you how to do this Gothic lettering. Now, Gothic can be lots of different things, and there's various styles, but it's this very ornate, thick and thin writing with a pen or a brush. I'm going to use a pen there, a Pilot parallel pen. The link is down below so you can see where you can get them from. They're one of the best ones to use for this. I find them very good, but you can do this style with a brush. When I did the Christmas thing on the window in town recently, that was done in this Gothic style. It goes back a long way, hundreds of years, to the not so much calligraphers but the writers of the Bible. And there's a famous book which is called the Book of Kells, which has some beautiful writing in. But there's just one or two particular shapes that you've got to get right, and then all the other letters really form around them. Note, the capital letters are always very elaborate, to the point where you can hardly read them. Never, never, never write a long word, or any word, in Gothic capital letters. It doesn't work. They are only there as a first letter for the rest of the word, and the only way you'll read it is know what the word is. Oh, that is a letter C or a letter S or a D. But don't get a tattoo with them all in a line. It doesn't work. Right, let's get on with it. Okay, so I'm starting off with this 6mm wide Pilot parallel pen, and you'll notice I've got a marker on here. I've just changed the ink actually. It's got black in it now. But it's a good idea to mark the outside of the pen to show what colour ink it's in, otherwise you won't know. The blue just indicates how big the pen is. Here it is. Now there's a few basic things we need to do here before we start. First of all, I do really recommend that you hold the pen like this. If you hold it in some other way, to hold it like this is difficult, I know, but this is the best way I find. I've seen people hold it like this and like this and like this and like this, and they're all crazy ways of doing it. You should have learned first off to hold a pen like that. Not crunched up, but fairly loose with the fingers fairly pointed. Right, okay. Now, when you use this pen, what you must do is hold it flat on the paper so the whole of the nib sits on it. And when you go that way, of course, it'll be thin. And when you go that way, it'll be thick. So an A would look like that, and a V would look like that. You'll notice I'm starting from the top, working down, so that stroke should go that way, that stroke that way, because it's very difficult to push it up against. You can do, but better to pull it down as often as you can. Consequently, if that is thin and that is thick, then a vertical line will be sort of halfway house, both directions. So an E would look like that. Put a curve in it, let's say a C or an S or a D there. You end up with these beautiful shapes going from thin here to thick here, back to thin. So that's one of the main things you've got to do with this pen. And the difficulty I think you might find immediately is to hold it on the surface, because you might start sort of lifting it a bit. If I twist it left and right, you can see how it sort of doesn't work properly. Although that looks quite interesting in itself. But still, more about that in a moment. The other thing you can do with this pen with regards to it touching the paper is that you can actually lift it off. So if I do a letter H like that, I can come down and then lift it off there and use the corner, because the corner is quite usable and it makes a very nice thin line. You can go from thick to thin just by lifting it off. I'm going to do that again. See? Lovely. Right, the main shapes that we're looking for I've just shown you here, and that is the verticals will be like this, and then the bottom of most of the letters, the small letters at least, will have a little kick there and one at the top. So top, middle, bottom, and that would work for A, B, C, D. E would do that, so E would look like this. So you're creating all the letters with this same form. F would go down there. G, it's sort of a boxy sort of shape. Now how you finish the G off is up to you, but one way is to do that. H shows this extremely well. Now you can either come across here, or this time I'll do that. And sometimes with the H you might bring it in like that. But the bottom of them just has that little kick at the bottom. Let me do it once more. M and N are interesting. You just got to concentrate on what you're doing. There's M, and O would be very, very similar. Let me put it up here for you. So O down there, there's the bottom piece, and the same at the top, so that would be a letter O, consequently letter P, and maybe you could do that with a P. Okay, so it's this basic shape of the top, middle, and the bottom, and all the letters are really constructed around that. Right, I'll just show one or two of the capital letters. I won't go through the whole alphabet. Best thing to do is to go to a computer and write out the alphabet in capital letters and then select the font which shows them. I think this one I'm using is called, let me just write that down, D.S. Caslon Gothic. This is on an iMac, so the Apple computers have this as the letter. And roughly what you've got are these sorts of things. I'll just go through one or two. I will just do the word Christmas for you with a slightly smaller pen which has got red ink in. This is a 3.8mm with my red marker on it. Now the height of the capitals is about 7 width of the pen nib. I'll show you here on this description. And the height of the H, the body of the H, is just 5 high. Don't always do this, but I will in fact put a line. I've got a very soft pencil here, fact 9B, good grief, and put that roughly the height I want, and this will get you. And okay, if we put the height of the letters, the small letters, will be about there. I say about, can be not changeable, but might be useful to stick to these. So I'm going to put the word Christmas. So we will copy. I'll actually get the capital C, so I know exactly what I'm doing, and copy it. So I'm looking at the version of it. So I'm going to write the word Christmas right to the top here. Again, hold the pencil correctly, the pen, and make sure that the nib is square onto the paper. So there's the C for Christmas. It's got a top to it, you get that nice shape there. And I love doing these, down and along, maybe one of those. Right, the top of the H is going to be there on that line. Again, this top, down, and I'm going to do one of those. R is very much of this construction. And then the I, the same thing, but without that. The S is particular. It's there and there, that across the middle, and these lovely top pieces, but you can only go down. If I push up, it won't work, so pull that down, and then you need a thin line using the corner of the nib, one point to another. Let's put the top, dot my I's, T. Now M is interesting, one of those, two of them, three of them. A is again constructed with these same movements. And finally another S. Now one other point is that I'll put these little kicks off here. You can put one or two at the back as well, which look quite nice, like this. And basically, that is it. Not much more to be said. I haven't shown you the rest of the small letters, so let me just go over those as well. So an A I've got there. B I would do a bit like this. C, again, constructed with these shapes. B, C, D. Now D, you can either bring like that, or if you want, you can bring it over the top like that. E, well, since you're finished there, you might even pull that out the middle. F, well, there you are. I hope that was useful, and Merry Christmas to you and a Happy New Year. And if it's not that time of year, we'll save it up for next time. Don't forget to subscribe. I've got over 14,000 followers now, which is terrific. Thank you very much for that. And keep in touch, and I'll see you in the next video. I certainly will. Okay, bye for now. Bye-bye.